welcome to my channel. My name's Julie and we're here to do a pick a card reading. So the topic this week is what do you need to know right now? And so this seems to be a popular subject, and hopefully it helps you in whatever decision you're having to make or whatever you're wondering what you need to deal with right now. So we've got, as usual, 3 cards to choose from, or also 3 crystals. So we've got this beautiful fluorite for group 1, and then for group 2 we've got this lapis lazuli, which is also very beautiful. And then for group 3 we've got this rose quartz, which I also love, especially as it's in a love heart, but I also love raw crystals. So select your group either by crystal or by the card, and then we'll see what your reading is. I'll see you a bit later. Bye. Hi group 1, welcome to your reading. So if you chose the fluorite, let's see, or this card, let's see what your message is right now. So you've got Magician and the Mirror, which I think is a really stunning card. And the first thing that comes to mind is that you are the magician in your life, and it's almost, if you feel like in some way you can't direct your life, or things feel out of control, or it's almost like it's reminding you that that's not the case, that you can direct how you want your life to be. It doesn't mean that we can control everything that happens outside of us, but it's about really getting clear about what it is that we want. And I guess the law of attraction and all of that type of stuff, they do talk about your emotions and aligning with positive feelings or good feelings, which I think is important. But I did struggle with it when I was first reading the book with Abraham, with Esther and Jerry Hicks. But basically, with this, it's important to do the work as well. Like if you're wanting to create things in your life but you haven't yet resolved the barriers that you've created towards those, whether maybe when you were younger you experienced poverty or not having very much, and then now you're trying to create abundance by just having positive thoughts about money. Well, that's not, for me, that's not how it must work for some people. But it's almost like you'll keep coming against those old beliefs when you're trying to create the new ones. And so it's really important to look at those old beliefs, in my view, and just sort of see where they come from and give them the time and attention to, to recognize, acknowledge what they were for you, and to let them go. You don't have to necessarily go into all of the, beginnings of it in terms of like rehashing the whole story, but it's more about acknowledging what happened, giving it the space. Do you still have an emotional charge to it? Because it's that emotional charge that directs where you go, really. Because if you look at it and you actually feel at peace with it, then it means that that part has been healed and let go, and you can move on now. Whereas if it still has that energy with it, then it requires some work still. And so when you're trying to create or manifest a new life for yourself, just keep that in mind, because then you might be wondering, why are things not working out, why am I not getting what I want? And there are a lot of many factors, but one of them is possibly that you haven't quite resolved the past yet. And the other thing is also that when we create with our heart, with what we really want and feels good for us, then that happens. We manifest automatically, actually. But it's when we manifest with our minds, like we have this idea of what life should be like, and then when we try and create that from that space of, and that normally is something that we would have got from somebody else, not necessarily our own, because in our hearts we know what we really want. It's just tuning into that. So the magician is just reminding this. And also the mirror, like for me, it reminds me, whatever is happening outside of you is a reflection of what's going inside of you as well. Because if you're paying attention to something, then it must be something that is within you as well. And so, if you see, for example, a lot of anger outside of you, then just ask yourself, what is it that you could possibly be angry about? Or, you talk to your friends and they're all feeling bad about themselves, then, there's that commonality. We attract what it is that we're experiencing right now to help us to resolve these things. It's not a bad thing at all. And, there is no good or bad, but it's just an opportunity to learn. And also what I'm getting is about the infinity card, that you remember that you're an infinite being. You're not just a human being. And I don't mean just, but like you're a spiritual being having a human experience. And to remember that magic is a part of your birthright, and that you can create what it is that you want. So just remember your connection to your own spirit, to the universe. Everything is magic, really. It's just that we haven't been taught that, and we've forgotten. So it's to relearn that. So that's really lovely. Let's see what the tarot has to say for you, group 1. What's the message for group 1? Oops. Okay, so this came up in this week's channeled reading as well. So that's really interesting. So I'll put that in the description box so you can take a look. What's the message for group? Okay, that's too many. I laugh because, my shuffling methods aren't maybe always the easiest, but I like oh my gosh, you got the Magician again. And you saw me shuffling. I can't make that up. Oh, that's amazing. That's great. So again, I feel like this, oh well, we'll leave it until I come to reading. So we've got the Five of Swords, and so this is the swords represent our thoughts and ideas, etc. And you can see it's almost like there's been some type of battle or argument, and now people are feeling a bit dejected, sad. There's one person gloating, and what I feel with this is almost I feel like there's two messages. Either put down your swords and just give yourself a break from all that mind activity, all those self-doubts, worries. We do experience it, but just they're not actually helpful to us. And sometimes just acknowledging that I'm feeling anxious right now and I'm having these anxious thoughts is enough. There's nothing more you need to do. Is just to acknowledge what's going on for you. And the other one is maybe you're feeling a bit dejected or overwhelmed by all of these whatever excuse me is going on. It's almost like it really is like give yourself a break from the fog, from the lack of clarity, from the worries, etc. But not to be egotistical about it, which is interesting because I don't know your personal situation, but to be humble in your situation as well, especially if it involves someone else, to just have, that's just the word I'm getting. So it may just be specifically for a few, but just be humble in the way that you interact with others. And then we've got the Six of Pentacles and the Page of Wands, and these came together, and I think they are tied in together in the sense that it's almost like this Page of Wands is you're creating a new beginning. You haven't quite figured out what the steps are. You're at the stage of planning what it is that you want to manifest, create. And it's almost like before you get to that stage, there needs to be this balance there. You need to sort of, and it seems to relate to something in the physical, whether it's money, career, something that is, it's not just your emotions, but something physical that you'd like to create. There's almost like a balancing that needs to happen in order for you to get to this stage. So take a look at what it is that it's almost like some doubt that is holding you back from moving forward. And again, a reminder of the magician, where I talked about you can't just manifest something without necessarily, if you still have emotions that conflict with that, then it's hard to move forward. And that's what the law of attraction talks about. It talks about aligning with good feelings so that you're always moving forward. But if you have a feeling that isn't so good, then and sometimes if you're not so clear with the law of attraction and Esther and Jerry Hicks, then I'm sorry, this is going over your head, but I'll try and make it more simple. It's just like anything. If you want to move forward but something is holding you back, like an old belief that you can't have it or something like that, then it's really hard to move forward in that direction. And so it's important to do that work so that you come from a really balanced position of what you're trying to create. So that's a really strong message. And it's almost the balancing of karma as well, and that's what I mentioned in this week's channeled guidance. Just sort of, where is it that there needs to be that balance again? Have you hurt somebody in the past? Have you, where can you bring things back into balance, and how can you act differently going forwards so that you're not creating this karma again? And again, you get the magician card, just reminding you again, remember, you are the magician. You have all the tools that you need. He's got all his tools. So there's, just remember that, that you can create what it is that you want. And you are a spiritual being having this human experience, and that's what you're meant to be here for, not to suffer, not to go through all these difficult times. Of course, we have challenges so that we can experience and learn, but that's not why you're here. So that's a really beautiful reading. Like, it's very empowering to remember your power, your magic, your ability to create. And I just want to pull out a Louise Hay card. I'm doing this randomly from a bag. So let's, it's weird. Okay. So the card that I get is I'm willing to forgive. Hope you can see that. And on the back it says, forgiveness of myself and others releases me from the past. Forgiveness is the answer to almost every problem. Forgiveness is a gift to myself. I forgive and I set myself free. So that's really beautiful. So I'm just going to leave that there. The light means that you can't really see it now. So maybe I'll keep it held up here. And then you had another one that came up, I'm at peace with my age. And so this might be just for a select few of you. Each age has its own special joys and experiences. I'm always the perfect age for where I am in life. And so that's really lovely as well. We get so bombarded with what, with age, and it's ridiculous. Like, why do we even need to focus so much on that? But that's the way society and the way things are structured at the moment. But let's see how it unfolds. But yeah, just remember self-forgiveness and forgiveness of others. Doesn't mean that you condone what has happened. It just means you release yourself from those things, and remember that don't pay attention to your age. So thanks so much for watching Group 1. It was really lovely to read for you, and I'll see you at another reading. Bye. Hi Group 2, welcome to your reading. So let's see what your message, what you need to hear right now. So you've got woman holding a coin, and so this reminds me of the Queen of Pentacles. And so interesting that, Group 1 was, I feel like the energy is very similar, and it's about manifesting, really creating what it is that you want in terms of abundance and financial terms, really. Because in, the way that we've been taught about finances is, I don't feel very healthy. It's like you need to accumulate. The more that you have, then the more safer you feel. But if you watch the amount of, the people who have a lot, they seem to worry the most. And I don't believe personally it's about having more. It's about having that trust in yourself, and that you'll always be okay, that you'll always have enough, and to have that abundant perspective actually. And because you can have, I've seen people with lots of money, and they can be people who actually aren't very kind to themselves, very loving to themselves. They hold on to their stuff, and they don't really enjoy life. And that, for me, that's not really the experience that we're meant to have here. And so it's looking at what is financial stability about, really. And if you look into it further, when I did it, I can't remember when now, but it was really about feeling at peace and feeling free. There was that freedom, and actually we are free, and we can access this freedom anytime. And I can be at peace anytime. Like, that's not dependent on my circumstances. That's just, if I believe that everything outside of me would determine how I feel, then really that's very disempowering. Whereas knowing that actually I can access peace at any time, I can have joy at any time, I can be free at any time, I mean, that is for me true abundance. And when you're in that energy, then everything just flows to you when you need it, when you want it. The synchronicities that I experience now are just amazing, and I don't need to worry about things. I still go into that because it's still the old patterns that come out, but I'm more aware of it now, and that's really helpful. So bit of a it's a really strong message actually, because it's knowing that you already have everything that you need, and you will have everything that you need, and the only way to help yourself is to be in this present moment now, because the more that you live in the future, the more you will worry, because we can't control it. But if you stay in this present moment and know that everything is unfolding perfectly, and even if things happen that aren't always pleasant, you'll be able to handle it. And when you start to build that confidence in yourself, that's when you start to let go, and those worries can be released, those fears can be released, because you trust in yourself and your ability to deal with everything that happens, and you'll be able to then create what it is that you really want. So that's really great. I see a lot of purple as well. It just feels really lively, really abundant, and she's also very like, she's got that look about her that says she knows what is what. So it's just being discerning as well about what you do, who you interact with. Don't allow yourself to be influenced by others who put you into worry and say, oh, but you need to have a house now, and oh, you need to have this now, when it's not true. It's just simply not true. So that's a message there. Let's see what the tarot cards have to say for you. So what's a message for group 2? Message for group 2. Oops. So that doesn't burn. And it's the first time that's ever happened. I think that's a special sign for you. Oh, sorry. Just have 2 more cards, please. Oh, there we are. And I didn't mention as well that actually the 4 and the 2 add to a 6, and for me the 6 is a number of love. And so remember to manifest with love, create what it is that you want with love, because when you come from that basis, then you really, anything is possible. So that's just to remind you of that. And then okay, we've got the 7 of Pentacles, and so this is again, like, it's very much about reviewing where you're at in life and what it is that you want in terms of your coins, your abundance, etc. So take the time out when you come upon this reading to take a look at what it is that, where are you at with your situation. Are you happy? Are there what would you like instead? And be honest with yourself, because there's no point, you can lie to other people if you want to. I don't think there's much point, but the worst thing is to lie to yourself, and be honest with yourself about where you're at and what you would like to improve, or where you want to be. And then that's when you can start to really tune into what it is that you really want, and do that work in terms of, okay, what is it that you want? Okay, I want $1 million, pounds, euros, whatever. Well, why is it that you want that? And really understand what emotions you're trying to experience as a result of that goal or objective. Because when you get to the emotions, that's what it is that is really important, because it's when you can access those emotions yourself without having anything. And when you realize the power to do that, then you're free, because you don't need these other things in order for you to feel good about yourself or to feel happy. You can access it anytime. So that's really great, really empowering this is. I hope you feel it as well. And then you've got the Two of Cups, and so this can be a couple, a relationship, but for me it's also about the coming together of your masculine, your feminine, your yin, your yang, meaning that part of yourself, like really tune into what is because the feminine energy is about receiving, being a kind of that holding space for when ideas come, and then when they do come, then it's the masculine that will create that and be active about it. So, and when we can work together with, and for me actually, if I think about it in terms of our our cells, our body, it would be like, let your heart decide which direction you take, and then let your mind determine how you do that. Like, and you'll receive guidance anyway, but it's kind of your mind. For example, your heart says, I want to go from A to B, then your mind will help to create, okay, which route do I need to take to do that? And so it's the same thing. I hope that makes sense. But coming into union with yourself, and really how do I describe it? It's almost like you work together within yourself. You're no longer fighting, because I feel like that's what we've been taught. We've either been, people either focus only on their heart, or they either focus on their heads, and we need both. Like everything, we're everything. So how can we deny parts of ourselves? So I just feel it's really important to start to work with yourself, with all aspects of yourself, to build what it is that you want to create. And then you've got the Death card, which I think is great. It's about things, transformation, things ending, letting go of the past so that you can open new doors. So there are things dying away, and maybe you're seeing that in your life. You're seeing friends disappear, situations that no longer serve you are ending, and those can be hard, and it's really important to give yourself that space to acknowledge. But at the same time, I feel the sun is rising, or maybe setting in this case, but the sun is there. And in the tarot, the sun is the happiest card of the deck. And so with this transformation, you will see a lot of joy and happiness come into your life, and it's a really positive thing. So don't be afraid of letting things go, because when we let go, that's when amazing things come into our lives, and we surrender to the magic, to the synchronicities, the amazing things, because we are spiritual beings having a human experience. And then we've got the Two of Wands. And so Two of Wands, once you've gone through that transformation, once you start to get into alignment with yourself, work with yourself, after seeing what's not working, then you can go through this transformation of letting go of those things that no longer serve you, to prepare yourself for this new beginning or new opening. And then you get into the Two of Wands, which is about, he's looking at the earth or the world, like where does he go next? And so that's where you get to go to, because you're coming from a more grounded space now. Like, where do I go to next? What is it that I really want? And remember to tune in to love. What is it that you really want in your heart space, not what you've been told by others. And when you do that, then that's when the energy is really, it comes into alignment, because you're working, you're allowing your heart to direct you. And when you do that, things will just come to you, like just very quickly and with ease. And that's when you're on the right track, because things just fall into place very easily. So I just wanted to pull out a Louise Hay card, because I like her affirmations. So I've just got a bag full of them, so I just randomly pull them out. Oh, this is amazing. So the past is over. Absolutely. It's like, let go of the past. This is a new day, one that I have never lived before. I stay in the now and enjoy each and every moment. So that's really beautiful. I'm going to keep this here, because when I put it down, the light doesn't reflect very well. But group 2, that's your reading. I hope that makes sense. Remember your abundance. Remember all of, everything is unfolding perfectly, and you've got some new wonderful beginnings coming your way. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you at another reading. Bye. Hi group 3, welcome to your reading. So let's see what you need to know right now. These cards, these are the energy oracle cards. So you've got door to value. I just really love the image. I'm just getting pulled into it actually. You've got all the coins there, and it talks about, for me, what the message I'm getting is your abundance is connected with your value. And so, the more that you can begin to value yourself and know your worth, is when things start to really shift for you. And I'm getting the 3 and the 1, which is a 4. So it's like, this is a really strong foundation. And just in general, like, it's so important to value ourselves and to know that we are worthy of, firstly, we're worthy of being here on this planet, and also we're worthy of living the life that we really want. And I don't know about you, but I was taught, when I was younger, by society and also the people around me, that you had to work hard to get what you wanted. Life wasn't easy. There wasn't much to go around. There wasn't, it was like coming from this place of lack and fear, and just even talking about it is making me feel heavy and tired. And there wasn't, and it's not about blaming anybody. It's more about just acknowledging where those what it was like and where they came from. And now these days, because we're more aware, we have the opportunity to change that, to be in a place where we can say, okay, I do value myself and I am worthy. And it's not even about money necessarily, because this is just saying door to value, and that when you start to value yourself, you'll see those coins come through. But it's also about, when you value yourself, abundance in all forms. So in love, in life, in all its form comes to you. And so it's very important to see, where is it that I don't value myself. And I did write an article about self-value, so I'll see if I can find it and I'll attach it, or put it somewhere in the description. But it's almost like, if you value yourself and you feel self-worth, you don't really need to justify it. That's the difference between, for me, having self-worth, value, and feeling deserving. Because when you feel deserving of something, it's like you've worked for it, you've put the effort in. So you kind of feel like, okay, well, I deserved it, I worked so hard for it. And oftentimes, you know, if you're quite sensitive, you will do more than you need to anyway. Whereas when you feel worthy, sorry, I can't get my words out, feel worthy, you know, it's not about saying, I feel worthy because I've done this, I feel worthy. No, it's just, you are worthy just because you are. And it's really important, if you don't feel that, to understand, okay, well, where did it come from? Where did I start to feel that I wasn't worthy of having what I wanted? Where did those thoughts come from? Because once you can identify where they came from, you realize they weren't yours, they weren't your beliefs, they were conditioned. And you know, a big part of it is society, the structure, the matrix that we live in is really about putting pressure on people so that they don't, you know, the more that, and it's a structure that's based on fear, in my opinion. The more that you keep people in fear, the more you can control them. And you know, that's why we're seeing such big change at the moment, because people are starting to realize that these structures don't work. And perhaps they might not realize that it's because it's not based on a foundation of love, but eventually people will. And the more that you can be loving to yourself and kind to yourself, the more that you realize that everything you've been taught needs to be put into question. And you know, if that's a scary place to be, I understand that completely. It can be very destabilizing to realize that you've been lied to, whether that's been intentionally or not. And so, you know, but it's also empowering, because you start to realize, gosh, you know, everything outside of me, what, you know, is not so important. What really matters is what I think about myself. And when you start to realize that, you know, you're the one who determines whether you approve of yourself, whether you love yourself, whether, you know, if you can start to do those for your, you know, to be that mother, father figure for yourself, to be your best friend, to be your lover, you know, to be all those different aspects that you want from the outside, you know, you will change your life. And you know, I can only say that from my own experience, but you know, it's taken a beautiful turn for me. And so yeah, just remember that, like, if you feel that you're not, you know, you're not valuing yourself, or you don't feel worthy, just be honest with yourself and take that time just to see what are the beliefs that lead to that, what am I thinking or feeling that leads to that, and just, you know, try and trace it to something, whether, you know, it's a specific situation that happened to you, or you know, it's something that got drummed into you. Because once you start to realize, oh, that's how it happened, you can cut the ties to it. You can, you know, let it be healed and let it go. It just needs acknowledgement so that you recognize that it's not you. So that's really great. Let's see what the tarot has to say for you, group 3. What's the message for group 3? It's a really strong messages this week. What's the message for group 3? Whoa, I'll take that one. Okay, message for group 3. Okay, great. And I mean, the tarot cards, even if they look scary, they're just messages of opportunities and healings, and yeah, nothing to be scared of. And so you've got the Ace of Swords, which I think is great. This is firstly about speaking. It's a new beginning in speaking your truth, being authentic, and you know, not coming up with new ideas, but having new ideas and, you know, new beliefs, etc. And so, you know, this is a really amazing time. You know, the more that you can be honest with yourself about where you're at, then the more that you can change that you're experiencing and feeling at the moment, which I think is really great. So really take this opportunity when you receive this message to look within. What is it that I'm experiencing right now? what is my truth? How am I being authentic? And how can you start to shift into that, so that you can lead your life differently, create something new? And you've got the 10 of Cups here, which is all about emotional abundance, but emotional abundance is what we're really after. And so this door to value, when it's saying, by opening that door and going through it and really doing that work into to understanding and to healing those situations, ideas, whatever that have led you to believe that you aren't worthy or valued, you will receive this reward of happiness and full fulfillment, which is really beautiful. So it's just confirmation to do that work, and that it's accessible to you. This joyful, happy family, or it doesn't have to be a family, but just that joy. And then you've got the Tower, and so maybe at the moment life feels really challenging, and you're kind of like feeling a bit rocked, unstable. And this is what happens when Tower moments happen. Basically, it's because they're happening because something in your life wasn't working, and it needed to happen in order to shake you up, to make you realize, actually, things need to change, something is not working. And normally it affects how we feel about ourselves. For example, if you lose your job, you might be, I'm not good enough, they didn't want me. But actually that's not the case. You can lose your job for several reasons which have nothing to do with you. And most corporate jobs unfortunately don't encourage the basis of love, joy, and it's based on competition, fear, all that type of stuff. So that's just an example, but really what it's there for is to get you to shift, to change, to realize that what you were experiencing before wasn't right. So perhaps that you weren't even happy in the job, actually, and it left you feeling stressed and worried. And so actually something better is waiting for you that will be more in alignment with you. So if you're having one of these moments, just know that you're okay, that you'll focus on your self-worth and your self-value, because that will really open things up for you. Because really it's a lovely, you've got lovely cards. And then you've got the 6 of Cups, and it's about going back into that space of, in our childhoods we were, in many parts free, until we got conditioned to believe the opposite. Sorry if I sound negative, but in a lot of ways that's what happened. And it's remembering that feeling of anything was possible. I think I can fly today, and I think it's almost getting back into that, to remember that childlike sense of joy and magic and excitement about life. And what is it that you really want to create, and to love yourself in that way, like to value yourself as you would, like, if you think of yourself as a child, you would never berate your child, and so why would you do that to yourself? And so it's really important to start to treat yourself in the way that you would treat your best friend, and your, if you have children, your children, or anything that you love, you send love to it. And that's an important message for you as well. So just finally, I just want to pull out Louise Hay card for you. Okay, so you've got I am safe, it's only change. I cross all bridges with joy and ease. The old unfolds into wonderful new experiences. My life gets better all the time. That's so nice. It reminds me of the Tower. So, it's letting go of all those old, because it's leading you into new experiences that are really going to be even more amazing for you. It's been wonderful reading for you, Group 3. I wish you a wonderful, rest week, and I shall see you at another reading. Bye.